team out there to work with you on the road. So best of luck to us on Alpha Nice Simulation.
Second call, Class 3 AOB Spring Ewe Lambs, born January to July 2019. Second call, Class 3. Out of Class 3, we need Cassidy and Joseph Taylor and Audrey Callens. Your Class 1 winner for the AOB Yearling Ewe is Otto Cardinal. In addition, all exhibitors, we will do champion backdrop photos at the conclusion of the entirety of the show.
I tell you, a nice set of sheep here. A Class of 4, a guy can scratch his head about just a little bit because there are 4 really nice females out here. There's some differences. The big difference is performance out here, just to where we're at. But ultimately, the highest quality sheep starts the class. I think that's a female. You step off to the side of her, you appreciate her look and her balance there. She runs uphill, her attractiveness up front, but yet maintains a tremendous amount of natural shape and power. You get up on top of that one, I think she puts an awful lot of positive traits together. I think she's the one that's the place that we need to start out here. The one that's second is the one probably a little more challenging for me, just because that one is on the borderline of not being very big. And I'll just tell you, from the standpoint of her body shape and her sweep to her rib and an underline, I think is probably maybe the best in here. But I'd like to just lift her up and make her just a notch bigger. I call her acceptable today, and I think she falls in that second hole quite nicely. The power sheep out here is in 3, and if you just need some extra shape and some muscle, I can see where this female could raise you one to do that for you, because she's got an ample amount and then some extra. With that extra muscle, though, she gets a little coarse round up front. You can see it right in the point of her shoulder as you study her. It gets a little deeper and plainer there for me there as you study her. And then we'd like to lay her spine now just ever so slightly in her loin. That's where the 1 in 4 has some advantages. This one is a little flatter, not quite as terminal in her muscle shape, a little more feminine in her design there. We need to change her balance just a little bit. She gets a little heavier in terms of her condition, a little deeper up front. For me, a little shorter and thicker about her neck. At the same time, she's going to make an awful nice brood. I'm confident in females like that going out and making good females down the road. So nice set of 4 there. Congratulations to all of them.
Your results from Class 2 AOB Fall U Lambs. 4th place, Jason Moll. 3rd, Dylan Frank. 2nd, Haley Bird. And your Class 2 winner, Haley Bird. Now in the ring, Class 3, AOB Spring U-Land, born January to July 2019. First call for Class 1, Dorset Yearling U, born September 2017 to July 2018. First call, Class 1, Dorset Yearling U.
Another good set of females here, a trio of them that offers some differences. Depending on where you want to lay your priorities here, I can see a guy switching a couple of things in here. One we land on, I think she puts the most positive attributes together in terms of a balanced look from the outside, having the right kind of body shape and rib. I'll be the first one to admit, I'd love to see her just relax and go, just ever so slightly better. Maybe lay her spine down. Part of it is she just wants to fight out here today too, and I think when we watch her come together and collect herself, she presents the silhouette we like and the extra femininity of attractiveness up front. I think she does that quite well. The sheep in second, man, that was wild back shape. And just really good body and built in terms of her width and dimension of skeleton. We'd like to make her just a notch more ladylike up front, make her flatten that blade in there, just lay her neck in there a little nicer, and make her more attractive there as you study her up front. But from there back, that was a truck, nonetheless, in terms of sheer power. The one that winds up being third today, you can call her the late matured one if you want to, and the one that runs uphill, one that's got a nice balanced look in terms of some extension and length. For me, though, she's one, her underline reads just a little wrong in terms of the chest relation back into her flank, and then she's probably the flattest one out here to go with it today, like to see scouting her up a notch. But I still think one, if you needed a little extra look, she's got that going for her. So a nice set of three different ones here. Congratulations to all of them. Good job.
Results in Class 3, AOB Spring U-Lambs. In third place, Lily McKinney. Second place, Marissa Pendleton. And your Class 3 winner, Abby Cardwell. Second call for Class 1, Dorset Yearling U. born September 2017 to July 2018. Second call, Class 1, Dorset Yearling U. First call, Class 2, Dorset Fall U Lambs. Second call, Class 2, Dorset Fall U Lambs. Now in the ring is our AOB Champion Drive. This is a reminder that if your animal is not in the auction, if you want to sell it at a resale price, you will need to turn the packer copy of your weigh-in card in by 4 p.m. today to guest services. Again, if you want to sell your animal at a resale price, your packer copy of your weigh-in card must be turned in by 4 p.m. to guest services.
We start off the day with an AOB show, and while the numbers weren't huge, the quality was extremely good. I think all of them that came out here were sheep that certainly had some quality in terms of what they need to do down the road, and you can do some things slightly different to me because I think it was that deep in a couple of the classes there. Just a really, really nice set of sheep. So I guess at the end of the day, there's a pair of them that suit me the best out here. I just think in terms of being fault-free and having the right kind of build and skeleton, they're certainly big enough for me. So I'm going to shake the hand of your champion and grab your reserve, but congratulations to them, and thank you for bringing out a nice set of sheep.
Your champion AOB preview, Haley Bird from Class 2, and your reserve champion AOB preview is Abby Cardwell from Class 3. Second call for Class 2, Fall U Lambs, Dorset Fall U Lambs, born August to December 2018. First call, Class 3, Dorset Spring U Lambs, born January to July 2019. Now entering the ring is Class 1 of the Dorset Yearling Ewes, born September 2017 to July 2018. Second call for Class 3 Spring Ewe Lambs, born Dorset Spring Ewe Lambs, born January to July 2019.
Thank you so much.
As we start our horse, it's just a real nice single entry here, Yearling Ewe. One that you got to appreciate the look, the balance, and correctness of skeleton from the side. You have maintained a tremendous amount of power. That one's really, really stout in terms of her center body, and her shape there, and got an adequate amount of muscle. Just be nice to study her against some contemporaries here for a division championship in a minute. Awful nice female. Congratulations to the young lady.
The results from Class 1 of the Dorset Yearling Ewes, first place, Abby Cardwell. Now in the ring is Class 2, Dorset Fall UM, born August to December 2018. Final call, Class 3 Spring UMs, born January to July 2019. First call for Class 1, Registered Camp, Suffolk, Yearling U. First call, Class 1, Registered Camp, Suffolk, Yearling U. Last call for Kenzie and Colton Hoekstra to the holding ring. Last call, Kenzie and Colton Hoekstra. Second call for Class 1, Yearling U, Hampshire and Suffolk Yearling U. Second call, Class 1, Hampshire, Suffolk Yearling U.
Really a nice pair of ewes here. We're going to start with the young lady in the blue shirt here, be your class winner. And I think of the two, this one's certainly the more powerful one in terms of her body and her shape there, and her just being more open up. But what the difference is for me is the way she sets down off her rear too, just more comfortably as we watch her go. I think she plants some more stability there. I'm not going to call her the neatest about her chest score and her underline there, but I certainly call her acceptable and still a very, very high quality one in terms of her extra rib and power. The young lady's got one and two. I love the look right here. I mean, I think she balances phenomenal. When you get her propped up, I'm all in. When we get her in motion, she bothers me just a little bit, a little too straight in terms of her hop there. If we plant them with a notch more stability, I think she makes a run. Probably could be just aimed to be bigger in her pin and her upper hip there as well, but I do think she's got a phenomenal balance. Look from the side, going to make an awful nice breed for the young lady. Nice job, nice set of sheep there.
The results from Class 2 of the Dorset Fall UMs. In second place, Chancellor Johnson. First place, Bailey Lake. Now entering the ring is Class 3, Dorset Spring UM, born January to July 2019.
We could have for the second class, A, Jones, figure class.
Hey, so I have a question about the way the divisions are split up for the weathers. Would you mind asking if there's like 8 classes of southbound or what? Yeah, the way they write it out is really weird. Okay, I'm gonna send you a photo of like what they've written down for the divisions. Can you like figure out like how 5 divisions 5, 6, and 7 are? Because I don't know. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
If you are missing 3 lambs, they got out last night and they are pinned in C55. If you came to your stall this morning and your lambs were not there, go check pin C55.
I tell you, a really good set of sheep here and a top trio of females that I think are all very, very, very good. They're very high quality. They're slightly different, but each one of them has some tremendous pieces. The one we elected to start with here, I just like this sheep a whole bunch, and particularly from a balance standpoint, her look and correctness from the side. And then when we get them into motion, I think she's the most honest and true in terms of her extra base width, her extra width at her hock there, and as you watch her go away, I think she maintains that. And her upper hip there is very good. Her extra shape and her body shape is very, very, very good. I just think an overly complete one there. I'm not going to call her the neatest chested one I've ever seen, but I certainly think she is very, very good there. The one here at second's got an extra shot of muscle, and if you need that, the Dorset, that one's got it. I like her width at the ground. I like her extra width to her chest form. With all that extra width, though, we watch her go away from you one time, and you can see her standing there. She pushes on the outside of her hoof really, really bad. And she gets out past her body when we watch her to go. And you can see, in particular, her right leg, and that's even she does it when she's bracing. She pushes outside of her body. If we collect that and you make her straight when we watch her go away, man, that makes it a really, really hard decision there which one of those 2 sheep I like better. But that's the difference for me today, the way she wants to step in and plant them. Sheep coming out of here in thirds is good build, as complete as any of them. She wants to bop up in her spine there just ever so slightly. The young lady does a nice job trying to fix it. We like to relax her there and lay that down ever so slightly. She's a little more upright on her toes as well. When we get her into motion, she doesn't step down and plant them as hard as the 2 ahead of her for me, but that's still an extremely high quality one. That's great in her body shape, great in her build. Not quite as wild in terms of her muscle as the 2 ahead of her, but I still think she's got more than enough. Big stout featured one here coming out in 4. Just opened up, cracked open, wide body one. Here's got the right kind of shape and sweep to her midrib. She's a little plainer in her look though, versus those 3 ahead of her. I don't see quite the extension. I don't see quite the hard shape of muscle either you see in those for me. And again, that's probably not a big deal to some of you on the review, but for me, I like to see that extra bells and whistles. The one coming out of here in 5, this one's exotic from the side. Man, she balances up phenomenal, and I love that about her. There's one down there in 6 is a lot like her. But for me, at the end of the day, when you get in front of this one or behind her, she's the flattest and the frailest one out of these initial 5. You take her and breed her to the right buck club, you got something there, no doubt about it, because that's an awful nice female. So nice set of sheep here, challenging group to sort through. Congratulations to all of them.
The results from Class 3, Dorset Spring Ewe Lambs. In 9th place, Brooke Elise. 8th, Tyler Conrad. 7th, Crystal McCollum. 6th, Kenzie Hoekstra. 5th, Colton Hoekstra. 4th, Kylie Davis. 3rd, Otto Cardwell. 2nd, Marissa Pendleton. New Class 3 winner, Bridge Sweet. Now in the ring is the Dorset Champion Drive. Last call for Class 1 of the registered hams and Suffolks. First call for Class 2 of the Fall Ewe Lambs registered ham and Suffolk. And first call for Class 3 registered ham Suffolk Spring Ewe Lambs.
We get out here for our champion Dorset. We got 5 awful nice females out here. They don't all look alike. There's some differences in them, and I think because of that, I want to take just a second here and at least tell you what I see. The yearling there, I love her kind. I mean, I think that's one that's good in terms of her look and her balance, her lines. Her underline reads incredible for a big yearling ewe like that. You know, one that's got enough bone to go with it. If we pick on her, I'd like to make her square at her hop. When you watch her go away from you, she wants to turn them in ever so slightly. But I call that sheep very functional. She's never going to have a problem with that. I like her kind of revealed. She's level. She can stand to run uphill just a little more extended there. That's picking on an awful nice one there, though. It's got a lot of quality. The one out of the fall division there, just a stout brute there. That was mole-bodied and really opened up. Powerful in terms of her build. One that's got enough look to go with it. I'm not going to call her. We picked on her hind leg a little bit as well. Not perfect, but I thought was very good. And she had all the extra width and dimension and extra body shape to go with it. And I think she presents a nice propped up look. The one that was second to her, her balance is incredible. We picked on her rear too as well. You can see her just flex and go. The young lamb here is the one for me that just put a lot of cool bells and whistles together. One that has that kind of presence and run uphill, good bodied and shaped and got plenty of muscle. Not nearly the stoutest one out here, but I think she's got plenty to her. I think her build extremely good. The one that was second to her, I love the pattern of that one. Extra width and power, and I like the shape and muscle in my females. But one we picked on her hind wheels there wants to get out past her body a little bit. So some differences out here. You pick the ones you like, you breed on them as you want to, guys. And there's some awful nice sheep out here. They're going to have a long time, a lot of good for these kids and whoever's going to breed them down the road. So best of luck to you. I got my favorites out here. I'll show you which ones they are. Congratulations to all of them. Nice set of sheep.
Yeah, we already got the answers.
Dorset out of Class 3, Bryn Schweet. And your reserve champion Dorset out of Class 2, Bailey Lake. Now entering the ring, Class 1, the registered Hampton Suffolks, yearling ewes born September 2017 to July 2018. Final calls for Classes 2 and 3 of the registered Hampton Suffolk Division. Final call, Classes 2 and 3 of the registered Hampton Suffolk Division.
Well, I don't ever want to rush any decisions, but when they come for me simple, we'll move along so I don't change my mind. I think the one here that wins this particular class, just her extra width and dimension and her body shape and her power, she's never going to be the biggest ewe in the world. Moderation ain't a terrible thing, so I call her acceptable there, and her extra power and rib and body, soundness and skeleton is why she wins. The ewe in second is a little longer up front. She's more extended, a little taller there at the point of her shoulder. You like that about her. Her progression is the wrong way though, from her underline, from her chest back into her flank. She needs to be bigger pinned and bigger hipped as well, but still a nice ewe for the young lady. Best of luck with her down the road. Nice pair of shoes.
Your results from Class 1 in second place, Josie Dew, and your Class 1 winner, Grace Jensen. Now entering the ring is Class 2 fall ewe lambs born August to December 2018.
Last call for Taylor Olson. Taylor from Hampton, Green Lane. He came home with him with athlete match. Taylor Olson.
Last call for Taylor Olson. Spring ewe lamb to the holding ring. Last call, Taylor Olson to the holding ring.
I tell you, a nice pair of falls here. It's both just very, very different in their type and kind. The young lady we start with, I like that one's look from the side. I like her balance and correctness of skeleton. I like her hard muscle shape and her look and her attractiveness, one that's still very trim. And I think her underline reads good in terms of her progression and her sweep back into her rib there. You watch her go, I think she's sound enough. She wants to trot a little bit out here for us today as she goes around. But I think she puts a lot of real cool pieces together. And Mia's got one in second. Mia, she's got some power. Right there, man. You like this look. You step in like a 3/4 angle, extra body shape and rib is real good. That one is a little coarse in terms of the way she sets her down. She got a little bit of the banana leg there, got a little too much set, wants to get up under herself. But I tell you, she'll stay sound for you, young man. I feel confident in that. Just not appealing out here in terms of aesthetic value, and when you watch her go around the ring, when it's got a little extra condition on her as well. But nice female, good pair out there. Congratulations to both those exhibitors.
Your results from Class 2, Hampshire and Suffolk Fall Ewe-Lambs. In second place, Mason Kalin, and your Class 2 winner, Maren Ludlow. Now entering the ring, Class 3, registered Hamp and Suffolk Spring Ewe-Lambs, born January to July 2019. First call for Class 1 and 2 of our Southdown breeding ewes. First call, Class 1 and 2 of our Southdowns.
tell you, a really nice set of ewes here, and they're deep set, and they're different. Depending on where you want to lay your priorities here, I can see a guy doing a couple of different things. For me, the one that we start with, I think she's probably the hardest to make in terms of her build, her quality there, her look from the side, her presence. You study her underline and her body shape is where she sets the bar in here. She's the best ribbed and bodied of anyone out here by some margin. She gets her collected right there. That one is very attractive and feminine up front. I think her chest forward and her breastplate's where it should be on that sheep. I wish that one would relax forward just a little bit. The sheep probably maybe fighting her ever so slightly, but when she does relax, that one looks impeccable from the side. And then you get in a 3/4 to study her body shape, and she has that advantage over the one in second. The one in 2 is a power sheep. I mean, she's ripped up in terms of her back shape. She's really, really wide at the ground and stout featured. As you study her body, though, and in her underline, she's got a little extra flank wool down there that helps her, but she's just parallel in her lines for me. She's a little flat and concave right there in her forerib. We'd like to make her a little more robust there. And then she's just a little stout. With all that extra stoutness and feature, she gets a little coarser than the one right ahead of her, but that's an awful nice sheep going out of here in 2. That's a tough pair. I take nothing away from the young man here in 3. I like this shoe as well. I like her balance. I like her correctness of her feet and legs. This one plants them as good as any of them out here. She just doesn't have the wow factor as we study her up front. I think as you study that one, she just is level, and she doesn't want to get quite as deep through her chest forward and her breastplate there in relation to her flank. And you can see it even when he drives her. She wants to kind of get back and tucked up into her flank. But I really think that's a high quality one going out here in 3. And 4, probably the hard handling one. If we were judging market lambs, this one would give them a run because she's shapely and good to the touch. She's got her hydrated, her skin's perfect. You can see that sheep's problem though from right here. It's the way she handles her hop. She's just too straight for me. As you watch her go, she only strides out about 3 or 4 inches, and because she just doesn't want to flex and go. But that one's back shape is wild. Her underline is good. Her chest force tucked up in her. Some of you may like her better than me because of that. And I can see that. She's got exotic pieces, but her hind leg, I'm picking on her just a little bit today. Need to get her out and go just a little better. Young lady's got 1 in 5. I like this one as well. She's got her with a lot of shape, and her body's good. As you study her along, though, from her flank to her hook bones there, she's just too short there. I mean, they're too tucked up in her flank, and where she wants to drop her loin there, and where she ties into her hook bones, it really throws her balance off right now. I'll tell you, as that sheep gets fatter, she's going to look better all the time, because I think her front end is very good, her blade's where it needs to be, and she's got a tremendous amount of power. Right now, though, as one that's a little skinny, she just doesn't balance up quite as well as some of them ahead of her, but I tell you, an awful good sheep. We go down the line, another young lady's got another one that's really good. She gets a little narrow out of her pin for me as we study her from behind, a little flatter in her shape versus some of them ahead of them. Then we got some nice females down here going to make nice shoes, maybe not quite the wow factor from the outside. Good job, great set of sheep there, congratulations.
Your results from Class 3 of the Registered Hampshire Suffolks. 9th place, Josh Reese. 8th place, Mason Kalin. 7th place, Kaylee Juggins. 6th place, Lauren Swan. 5th place, Izzy Klaus. 4th place, Taylor McGill. 3rd, Grayson Birch. 2nd, Taylor Olson. And your Class 3 winner, Abby Cardwell. Now in the ring is the champion drive of the Registered Hampshire and Suffolks. Second call for Class 1 and 2 of the Southdown Show. Second call, Class 1 and 2 of the Southdowns. First call for Class 3 of the Southdown Spring Ewe-Lambs. First call, Class 3 Southdown Spring Ewe-Lambs.
Tell you, our Hampshire Suffolk sheep show here looks like a lot of hamps out here, but really a good sheep show here. The quality is extremely, extremely good. I commend all of you for bringing out a nice set. I'm not going to get too long-winded. I thought there's a pair of them out here that suits me awfully well. I think very, very high quality sheep. I commend all of you. You guys hold your heads up. Best of luck with these females down the road. Let's give these kids a nice round of applause. Got a good set of sheep.
Your champion registered Hampshire and Suffolk is Abby Cardwell from Class 3, and your reserve champion, Hampshire and Suffolk, also from Class 3, exhibited by Taylor Olson. Now entering the ring is Class 1, Southbound Yearling Ewes, born September 2017 to July 2018. This is the last call for Class 2 and 3 of the Southbound Breeding Show. Last call, Class 2 and 3 of the Southbound Breeding Show.
We started our Southbound show here, just a single entry, but I tell you, an awful nice female here. Stand back off for one time and look at her presence, her look from the side. She runs uphill, she's got a tremendous amount of body and shape, and awfully nice female. It's going to be fun to study her some more back out here in the division drive. Young man does a nice job getting her presented as well. Nice sheep, congratulations to her.
Your champion, your winner for Class 1, Ephraim Fowler. Ephraim Fowler, I apologize. Now in the ring is Class 2, Southbound New Falls Rams on August to December 2018.
They got a good setup forward here. Some differences in them. If you evaluate them, I think the fault-free one is the young man's down there. I think if you study her balance, look from the side, the way that one runs uphill, tremendous amount of body shape and look and attract effectiveness, I think she's a very logical place to start out here. When you get her into motion too, she comes together quite nicely as well. That's just an awful nice female. The one in two, I like some things about her. I like her levelness of her lines, particularly right out of her dock there. She's really square. We watch her go. She maintains that really nicely. She's not nearly as stout-featured as the one right ahead of her. I'd like to drop her flank and give her more sweep to her body shape and all there versus the one right ahead of her. But I do like her levelness, her strength of line, and the way she gets out. The sheep here in third, I tell you, I like her feature. They got her clipped in and presented awfully well. That one, though, for me, is the longer we study her, she gets round off both ends of her skeleton, a little heavier condition, a little plainer. She's good-bodied, and like I say, she's presented to a T out here today as well. The young that's going to come out, of course, this is a powerhouse. I'm telling you, that sheep has got some width and shape. Her body shape is incredible, but that one is pretty short and compact for me. Just I know that she's a Southdale, but I'd like to extend her out of her neck there, lift her up, and just make her a little taller at the point of her shoulder. She's just a little too small for me today to get her up any higher. But a nice set of four there. Congratulations to all those exhibitors. Good job.
The results from Class 2 of the Southdown Hall U Lambs. In 4th place, Brooke Elise. 3rd place, Gracia Ellis. 2nd place, Bailey DeWolf. And your Class 2 winner, Ephraim Fowler. Now in the ring is Class 3 Southdown Spring U Lambs, born January to July 2019.
Judges slide back way. Just a tick. Better push its ass
Class 1, weather dam used for the holding ring. Class 1, weather dam used for the holding ring for waybacks. First call for Class 2, the weather sheep, start making your way to the hallway.
Well, you know, as I looked at this class here, I tried to think of how I would put it into terms of what we're looking at, and I thought about my little boys in Dr. Seuss house store, kind of green eggs and ham. We got a little bit of red, blue, and every kind out here, every shape and size and differences. And I'll tell you this, it's almost like picking a champion in a class because there's such variation in age out here. And then you can believe that some of these sheep are, I mean, you talk about 3, 4, 5, 6 months difference in age when you put them all out here. And I'm not saying there's any problem with that. I'm just saying it makes it real challenging for a judge to sort through all that in a particular class and determine which one's the best. But I can tell you one thing, and I'm certain, as if we poll ringside, that there's going to be South Down breeders that don't necessarily like the same one that I like the best, and I don't say you're crazy, but I'm going to tell you, I like this sheep that wins this class quite well. I like her balance, I like her design, I like her shape, I like that look right here. I just think she reads so good and true. I think she's good enough at the ground. When we get her in motion, she does want to drop her pins ever so slightly, but that's being critical of one that comes together extremely, extremely good. I just think a very high quality one. Is she big enough for some of you? May not be. I don't know. She's a South Down. She's big enough for me today, and I'll call her good enough that she needs to win the class. The one that's second is wild looking, and I'll tell you, she is as polar opposite as the one that wins the class as you can make her. And I don't apologize for that. I think she's the second best sheep out here for me. When you study her look and her balance, her body shape and her rib, and then watch her go, I do think she's the second best one. If we're going to pick on her, I give her more shape right there down through her lower leg and make her pin bigger versus the one ahead of her. To me, she just looks a couple months older and maybe doesn't read quite as good as the one right ahead of her in her underline. But man, that one is an awful high quality one. I love her body shape. I love the front end design of that sheep nonetheless. The one in third, for a long time, I wanted to call her just to be the one that looks just like my class winner. And from her squareness to her hip, her design and her moderation, you could say that about her. She's bold and powerful, but I don't read that she'd be near as good to her blade, her chest, and her femininity attractiveness as the one that wins the class. If we make her just a nickel better there and flatten her blade out, I think she runs. Again, this one is just a good old-fashioned South Down. Is she truly big enough? I don't know. I mean, that's your call on that one, but I like her kind. I like her stability off of her rear, too. We just need to make her a little neater right there in her blade to run with that pair ahead of him. Young man's got 1 and 4. You're talking about some power and performance, and I get a lot of people would tie into her because of that. She's bold and wide through her center body. The more I evaluated her, though, I read her to probably be the flattest, truly, at the ground. When watch her come at you and go away from you, she's probably one of the heavier conditioned ones out here, too. I think she collects as good as any. I think that young man does a nice job getting her pulled together there, but for me today doesn't read quite as shapely, quite as true in terms of her width as we watch her go around the ring. One coming out of here is 5, a little bit of the same can be said. This one does pull up nice from the side. She collects and square, good at the ground. She probably is the heaviest condition of the initial 5. You can read that over her forerib and through her chest floor there, and that's where she gets picking on her a little bit today. I'm not going to talk them all, but I will say the sheep in 6 has some shape. I mean, this one has got some serious muscle and power for a South Down. That was wide at the ground and wide going away from you. I read her to be just a little coarser up there to her shoulder. Need to make her more ladylike and feminine and attractive about her front end. Then we can move her up. Next sheep in line is one man that she's got some look and balance. She needs to be wider off both ends of her skeleton. As you study her knee and her hop coming at you, going away from you. Then we got a pair of sheep in here that are just little, and I think they're good. I do, and that's what gives me a lot of heartburn. I just started the class with a sheep that wasn't overly big, but I just wasn't sure if they're quite big enough for me today to get them up any higher. But I tell you, a really, really good set of sheep here. Congratulations to all of them. Nice job.
Your results from Class 3 of the Southdown U Show. In 10th place, Kate Brookshire. 9th place, Casey Brassfield. 8th place, Casey Brassfield. 7th, Bailey Reese. 6th, Taylor Williams. 5th place, Marissa Pendleton. 4th place, Ephraim Fowler. 3rd, Marissa Pendleton. 2nd, Gracia Ellis. And your Class 3 winner, Kelby Lindley. Now entering the ring is your Southdown Champion Drive. Just so everyone is on the same page, our division champions from our breeding show, our division champions from our purebred breeding show will come back at the conclusion of the U show, compete for champion registered breeding U, as well as grand champion overall breeding U.
Tell you folks, a really good Southdown show here. Not incredible numbers until we got into those ewe lambs, but really, really impressive front. And I want to talk about it just a minute. From the young man's yearling ewe here, single entry, but I tell you what, that's a good sheep. She's one to take consideration out here in terms of her look, her balance, her correctness of skeleton. And I tell you, that young man can show the wheels off the one out here with the best of them too. Gets her presented extremely good. She runs uphill. I think that's extremely high quality sheep. The one that wins the next class, I thought a lot of the same. One other one that runs uphill, good balance one here, not overly stout in terms of her hip and down to her stifle there, but I think she comes together quite nicely. Nice sheep there that was second in class as well. One that we picked on her hind legs just a little bit. And then we get to the lambs there, and as I said, I think those two sheep out of that particular class were just the unique ones for me to find, and then it was what you liked the better. And I tell you, it's like going to dinner. You know, when we sit down and order off the menu, you and I probably aren't going to order the same thing, and that's okay. I mean, I think that's positive that we don't all eat chicken tenders every night or whatever it is you like. So I think having some differences in your opinions is a good thing, and I think that's what we got in a pair of them there that are very different. But for me today, those are the best two. Congratulations to those young ladies.
Your champion, Southdown breeding ewe, came from Class 3 and was exhibited by Kelby Lindley. And your reserve champion, Southdown breeding ewe, also from Class 3, exhibited by Gracia Ellis. Now entering the ring is Class 1 of the Weather Dam U Show. Second call for Class 2 Weather Dam Utes. Class 3, please be ready. We'd like to take the time to introduce our judge for today, Mr. Brent Jennings. He attended Butler Community College and then North Carolina State University for his bachelor's as well as his master's. He is a livestock specialist for the 4-H youth at North Carolina State University and the owner and operator of Jennings Livestock. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Jennings to Arizona.
Good morning, how are you? A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cold, a little cold, but when you guys head home? Tuesday or? No. Oh, Saturday. Oh, okay.
I'll tell you, as we start into our weather dams here, nice class, lots of differences, man, lots and lots of shapes and kinds that are here. I landed on one though that just suits me the best in terms of her kind, her look, her balance, and from the side, I think you can appreciate the way she designed her chest and her rib and her body there, but yet has a tremendous amount of shape and some extra length and extension. But maybe like to just straighten her up there in her hock as we watch her go away from her. She gets plenty wide as we watch her travel. I'd like maybe to collect her just a tick there, but I still think an extremely high quality one. Man, a powerful one here in 2. This one is cracked open and wide-based and round body, and lots of positives there. That one's not overly big, and she's never going to be very big, but I call her acceptable for me today because of her extra width and stoutness of feature. We're going to go ahead and get her in 2. The one here in 3 has some extra length. Probably one that's a little later in terms of maturity, and probably the most youthful one in her look. She looks like a young lamb out here, but you can see it right there standing there. She wants another one. We can kick her hock out just a little bit. We'd like to collect her there. I think her balance look, though, is very good. Not quite as good, though, at the ground, and not quite as stout as the one right ahead of her. The one in 4's got some extra length, and this one's a little bigger, a little more stimulating. If you want to call her higher performing, you can do that. Not sure she is. She looks to be a little bigger about her head. But one for me, it's her underline is off in terms of her body shape. That one needs to be changed in terms of her relation from a flank back up into her chest. It needs to open her rib cage up there a bit. Because up high, that one is very good. And some of that's going to come as she feeds, continues to get more mature. Some of that old belly will drop down in her. The one coming out of here at 5, I think the young lady's having a good time showing that one. She's been acting up a little bit for him, I'm thinking there. I do think a nice balance. She, again, it's a little bit of, as we study her balance up high, the way her neck comes out of her shoulders, extremely good. She's level and square out of her hips. She's standing the ground. Probably needs to be opened up in terms of her skeleton, which there was a slight, nice job there by her. And a nice pair out there around the group out there. The young man's got a nice towel. I was picking on him. He's doing a nice job. The young lady's got a nice sheep line to group out as well. Good job, guys.
Your results from Class 1 of the Weather Dam Sheep. In 7th place, Mackie Hayden. 6th, Jacob Freivogel. 5th, Sadie Weatherly. 4th, Bryce Robriel. 3rd, Josie Dew. 2nd, Brooke Elise. And your Class 1 winner, Miley Myers. Now entering the ring, Class 2, Weather Dam Ewes. First call for Class 3 of the Weather Dam Ewes. Class 4, please be ready.
You don't get much rest. No, it's very capable. Right. Yeah, Maddie brought 2 other things. Tried to make it simple. Yeah, try to have a little fun.
Stockton Wade, if you're in the barn, can you please make your way to the announcer's table? Stockton Wade to the announcer's table. Second call, Class 3, Weather Dam Ewes. Second call, Class 3, Weather Dam Ewes to the holding ring.
tell you folks, this is extremely good class here, and we start with one. I tell you, I kind of got a little butterflies in my stomach when she walked in here. This one's pretty nice. This one hits me real good. And she's not the biggest one out here, but man, that one's wild bodied. She's good looking. She's sound at the ground. Balance is extremely good. That's an awful nice female right there. That one strikes me really good. This one, from there, you got to make some decisions. And what you want to do from there, I wouldn't argue with you. The sheep in second, I think, can be really good, or she can be really dumb too. That one wants to fight her awful hard. She's got some extra length and extension. If you want to call her more attractive up front, because she is longer necked, I don't know that she is more attractive than the one that wins the class, but I think that one is more extended, and she is wild bodied. Her underline is incredible. I just like to maybe make her a notch bolder and wider in relation to the one that wins the class in terms of her body shape, but that's an awful nice sheep going out here in 2. And 3 is one that does have some advantages in terms of her body shape. Maybe a notch wider in terms of her center body. She's not as cool up front though. You study her through her chest and the point of her shoulder. Just maybe not quite as extended there, and as neat right there in the breastplate as the 2 ahead of her. But man, I still like that sheep for quite a bit from there back. A brood ewe standing in forward. If you just get the stout featured modern one, it's going to go out and do it for you in the pasture. I can see that female doing it. For me, she misses some bells and whistles for extra length and extension to get her up higher. She just doesn't have quite that look and attractiveness up front, but I do think she'll make an awful nice female. And that's where the sheep in 5, man, this one is crazy from the side. In terms of her exotic up front, she looks like a giraffe. I mean, it's all stick up there, neck off the top of her shoulder, all those things. For me, she is the skinniest one out here, and it takes away from her look. Her body, she's just too tucked up in her flank right now. Her underline progresses in the wrong direction. She's deeper up front than she is back in her flank. And I think as you continue to feed on that one, give her some time, it'll come together. Today we need to change that sweep to her body and all a little bit. But I think that one is crazy good looking in terms of the front third. You got plenty of shape too. Nice set them there down. Some more really nice females out here. Congratulations to all of them. Good job.
The results from Class 2: in 10th place, Kaylin Morse; 9th, Abigail Jensen; 8th, Caitlin Dickinson; 7th, Kelsey Romriel; 6th, Bryce Romriel; 5th place, Austin Manners; 4th, Travis Lopez; 3rd place, Caitlin Campman; 2nd, Alicia Easterday; and your Class 2 winner, Emma Woods. Now entering the ring is Class 3 of the Weather Dam Ewes. First call, Class 4, Weather Dam Ewes. First call for Class 4 Weather Dam Ewes to the holding ring.
Second call for Class 4 Weather Dam Ewes. Second call, Class 4 Weather Dam Ewes.
Haley, step back. Haley, leave her alone. Step back. He's doing really good if I can get that lamb to just break when he sits in front of me like that. He just needs to move that hip a little bit. If he moves that hip just a little bit, that lamb would step into it. Of course, that's the one that takes me, so. Haley. He's fine. Sit down. He's fine. He's fine. What is your name? Behind you. I need to get one of those mirrors set up in the barn. Outside the barn. Well, I know, but I think if they can see what's right and what's wrong, it's easier.
Another interesting class here. Some give and take. Ultimately, we land on one. I think it's a really, really nice female. I'm not going to call her perfect, but I think she does well. She does really, really good. Her balance is incredible. Her look and her sweep to her rib and having some body shape. You know, all them black dots only takes away a little bit from her look, I think, and her presence. But I think as longer you study her, you can appreciate the good and her extra bait with it. And the way she's designed back into her flank over the one that's in second. The one here in two is wild shape in terms of her muscle up high, really square in terms of her upper hip and her pin. She's got a little extra set to her hind leg, but more critical for me is her body. And we need to open her forearm up, just crack her rib open and just make her bolder and wider there. And I certainly think she can give a run, because I do like her propped up. I like her shape and her hard muscle. Young man's got one in three, just kind of fault-free, no bells and whistles here, just good sheep. I mean, there's no real problem with her. I guess for me, the longer you study her, I don't analyze her. Big plays open up in terms of her skeleton, not quite as shapely as the two right ahead of her. The one that does run uphill, she just sits a little plain though in her overall build for me to get her up any higher. 1 in 4. I told the young lady when she got loose, she probably looked her absolute best right then instead of her, maybe she wants to drop out of her hip ever so slightly. But the front third of that sheep is really good. Her chest score and her placement and the way she places that into a full rib is extremely, extremely good. When we keep studying her, we like to lengthen her hip out, lift her up at the base of her dock a little bit, maybe make her run uphill. She's a little bit level, maybe downhill at most there, but I still think a very high quality one. One coming out of here at 5 is very shapely. Extremely hard muscled sheep there. The longer I analyze her, it's her shoulder blade for me that bothers me ever so slightly. She wants to get straight, and the way she's made there, turn those front 2 out awfully hard when we get her into motion, and we need to just relax that and lay her shoulder back in her a little bit to get her better up higher. But tell you, a nice little sheep, the one there in 6 is a good built one. Young lady does a phenomenal job getting her presented. I just call her a little too flat. The blue one there next is a really, really powerful one, maybe just a little small. But good set of sheep. Congratulations to all of them. Good job.
Your results from class 3 in the Weather Dam Ewes. In 10th place, Carter Juggins. 9th, Nicole Simone Smock. 8th, Zane Campbell. 7th, Elmer Hambrick. 6th, Caitlin Blackwell. 5th, Audrey Cowens. 4th, Eliza Duncan. 3rd, Roddy Campfield. 2nd, Colton Hoekstra. And your class 3 winner, Casey Brassfield. Now the ring is class 4 and the Weather Dam Ewes. We need the first and second place exhibitors from classes 1, 2, and 3. That's Miley Myers and Elise Brooke, Emma Woods and Alicia Easterday, Casey Brassfield, and Colton Hoekstra to the holding ring for the division drive. Emma Woods to the holding ring. Emma Woods to the holding ring. First call on Class 5, Weather Dams, the Holding Ring.
Well, I'll tell you folks, tremendous set of sheep here, and a trio of them that come up to the top that are just extremely, extremely good. There's some subtle differences in them, and I tell you, the more I study them, the more I'm not 100% sure what the best decision is here, because I know everybody's got their favorites. I'll just tell you what I see. The one I like to start with, I think is an absolute freak in terms of her body, her chest floor, her rib cage, her base width at the ground, and then when she comes into motion, she's extremely good. Now I'll tell you, she's not the tallest fronted one ever. She's never going to be the biggest sheep, but study her, the relation underneath there, her shape up high, and she's by no doubt in my mind, that's the biggest hip, the biggest pin one we've seen come in here. I still read her to be relatively sound as we watch her go. I'm not going to call her perfect, but I think that one just has some wow, just some exotic features there in terms of her body shape and her chest floor and her flank. I think are extremely, extremely good. The one that's in second, if you want to call her better looking up front, I'm not going to deny it. I'm going to tell you she probably is. I love that attractiveness about her. I'll tell you, for me, that sheep, and we want to open her up in terms of her center body over so slightly and square her up in her hock. When we watch her go away from us, I'd like to just see her step down a nod square, because actually when we get off of them from a distance, she's my preference of the pair. I like that one look and her balance. I like the way that sheep comes together up front, better than the one right ahead of her, but that one ahead of her, for me, just got too much power, too much width and dimension, particularly right out of her hip, versus this one ahead of her today, with the phenomenal nice sheep. And this one that comes in third, a lot of times she'd be winning her class, and we'd be calling her a great one, and I wouldn't argue with you, because I certainly think that sheep has some wow features in terms of her extra shag and foot and bone and her look up front. Extremely good, but you study her underlying long enough in her body shape, she's probably the flattest in terms of her forerib and her lower body shape there, and back up into her flank. If we took that wool off of her there, I think it would really take her tucked up a little higher. She's not as powerful either, truly, in terms of her extra width, as the two right ahead of her. But she is dynamic in terms of her levelness up high, squareness out of her dock, when her neck comes up the top of her shoulder. That's an extremely, extremely high quality one to go out here in three. And four is another one. I love this. She walked in, honestly, I didn't see those other three, and I thought, well, here's a nice place to start, because she's good built and balanced. She just doesn't have that extra shape and expression that trio above her does. That's a unit I think anybody in America would be proud to have. She's built like that, because she runs uphill, she's sound and good body. A nice one there going out four. And then five is a really shapely one, hard muscle. Doesn't have quite the extra power in foot and bone. Doesn't have quite the body and the shape of some on the head of her, but that's an extremely good sheep. I tell you, a hard, challenging class there for me. A really, really good group, and particularly a top five of them that were extremely, extremely nice. Congratulations to all of them.
Your results from Class 4, Weather Dam Youth in 10th place, Audrey Mullins. 9th, Taylor Nishalke. 8th, Austin Evanson. 7th, Bailey Lake. 6th, Jesse Bullard. 5th, Maren Ludlow. 4th place, Kaylin Decker. 3rd place, Riley Faye Hoyle. 2nd place, Raquel Lopez. And your Class 4 Weather Dam winner, Haley Seaver. Now entering the ring is the Division 5 Champion Drive for the Weather Dam Youths. call for Class 5, Weather Dam use the holding arena. First call, Class 5, Weather Dam use the holding ring. Reminder that if your animal is not in the auction and you want to, you can sell it at a resale price, but you need to turn an accurate copy of your weigh-in card into guest services by 4 p.m. today.
Any question? Did he say?
Scratch your head a little bit here, and I'll take just a second to talk about them. And, I think they deserve that. First class was a nice class of sheep, and we found a pair of them and sorted their way up. I thought both had some pretty neat pieces there. Were logical places to start. We ran to the second class, and I thought that one that went to that class, she hit me hard when she walked in here. Study that one in terms of her feet and legs, her balanced look, and her directness to her skeleton, and her body shape. I think that sheep's wild in terms of her overall quality. I call her exotic and just extremely, extremely good. One that was second to her was an awful good one as well. Doesn't want to cooperate quite as much, but extremely high quality in terms of her look and balance. A pair of them now in class 3 that were just really, really nice as well. Just solid sheep in their own right, and deserving to be out here. Very, very high quality. Maybe not quite as wow factor as the one on the inside of them. And then we get to class 4, and I honestly, and we've done this a couple times today, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Is you got to pick your kind there in that particular class. And I thought both those sheep were extremely good. I thought both of them, really a 3, 4, 5 of them in that particular class, they were real, real good. So we're going to take another look at them. I think both of those, the one that won that class, it's her hip and that extra width, though, I'll tell you, her extra body shape. You can see in relation to her flank and what she's made, and maybe like to make her a notch bigger. The sheep that was second in there, we just talked about her. I love that one's look. Her exotic, her neck with that old thin neck and her attractiveness there. Maybe just make her square in her hop when she goes away from you and open her body up just ever so slightly. So you pick on them here and there. You find the ones you like the best. For me, there's a trio of them out here that are elite, and unfortunately, one of them's going to get left out, but they're real, real good. So congratulations to all of them. I'm going to take one last look and find you a champion reserve. Nice set of sheep, guys.
Second call, Class 5, Weather Dam use the holding ring. Second call, Class 5, Weather Dam use the holding ring. Your champion, Weather Dam U, out of Class 2 is exhibited by Emma Woods. And your reserve champion, Weather Dam U, for Division 5, Haley Seaver. This is the final call for Class 5, Weather Dam U's. Final call, Class 5, Weather Dam U's in the holding room. Class 6, please be ready. Now entering the ring, Class 5, Weather Dam U's. First call, Class 6 of the Weather Dam U show. First call, Class 6 to the holding ring.
was like, if I can get pulled forward, I'm happy.
The way he talked about all guys though.
No, I'm not at all displeased at all. That was right where I thought it would be. But I got to get in it like, that's fine.
Second call for Class 6, Weatherdam Utes in the holding ring. Second call, Class 6, Weatherdam Utes.
I'm not getting coached right now. That's exactly right.
A little challenging class here because we got a real nice set of sheep and lots of differences in them. We like to discover with one of the young man's out here. I just read her to be quite functional in her kind. When she does want to cooperate and just lays her spine out right there, I mean, she looks really good from the outside. Her balance look and her body shape and the way she goes into motion is extremely, extremely good. I like her extra stoutness of feature at the ground. I think that sheep balance is good. I'm not going to call her the wildest muscle one because that one's standing in second. This one's got some extra width to her chest and her body, and just in terms of her sheer power is extremely good. We got to change that one's rib in her body though. You got to drop the flank down in that sheep quite a bit and open her center body up. But man, you got to appreciate one with that much power up high. We went ahead and got her up pretty good, but for me, her body shape needs to be changed quite a bit. And that's where the advantage lays in the 1 and 3. I like her sweep and her look from here. Her presence is when I get right in behind her, just like to make her bolder and wider, particularly right out of her shoulder. She needs to be just a notch square as I read her out of her blade there. But one has certainly got a nice look from her profile. One come out for some of the same can be said. I think that one pulls up and drops up really nice. With me, when we got her into motion, she just didn't handle her hind leg quite right. As we got her going, she wanted to get out past her body a little too much. But I tell you, one that's popped up an awful nice job there. That's extremely high quality. She can go out here before. The 1 and 5, the young man is out just too deep, of course. You read her through her shoulder and her knee there. Watch her go as she walks out. She's supposed to plan on east and west. We need to be north and south. Nonetheless, she's a good sheep. Young man does a nice job with her as well. Nice set of sheep here all the way through.
Your results from Class 5, the Weather Dam Unit Show. In 7th place, Anna Sunderberg. 6th place, Madison Morgan. 5th place, Tyler Bianchi. 4th place, Piper Liska. 3rd, Cassidy Bowman. 2nd, Blake Burns. And your Class 5 winner, Carson Bell. First call for Class 7, Weather Dam News and Poultry. First call, Class 7. Now entering the ring, Class 6, Weather Dam U. Now entering the ring is Class 6 of our Weather Dam U show. Second call for Class 7, Weather Dam News. Second call, Class 7, Weather Dam News.
Another very competitive class here at the top end of these are just extremely good. Some differences in them. The one I landed on, I like this sheep. I like her build. I like her quality of her skeleton. Extremely good. You watch her go and come at you and go away from you. I think she's wide to the ground. She's got some extra shape up high to go with it. And I think she balances extremely good from the outside. The sheep in two is probably as wild back and as big in it as any of them. Just really, really like the shape and extra power she's got. I read her being just a nickel straighter in her skeleton, though, as we watch her go. And her knee and her hock there, it's just like to loosen her up. But man, that's an awful nice pair of them right there, running into some tough competition, but that's an awful nice sheep in two. The one in three, some of you may appreciate her the best because of her look, and if you do, I'm not going to call you crazy. I'm going to call that one just wildly good running. Exotic in terms of the way her blade lays in there, really neat. But of those initial trio, she's by far and away the flattest one in her build. She's the hardest in her body, and her flank there, for me, as you get off to the side of her, I love her up high. I love her feet and legs. She's 70 grams. It's like a crack her open versus the one ahead of her, or the one that's going to come out behind her. You know, even this little sheep here is going to be stouter than the one right ahead of her. That one gets plenty coarse for me in her shoulder. You can see it. She wants to run downhill a little bit when we get her into motion, but man, that thing's a truck from there back. Power and width is extremely good. We got a gray one going to come out here next in class. The time she looks really, really nice. She's fighting me pretty hard out here in time or two. And she pops up good right there. She runs uphill really, really shapely. We like to change the way her loin taps into her hook bone there ever so slightly and maybe drop her flank in. But I tell you, that's an awful good one. A high quality set of five here in the top end of this particular group. Congratulations to all of them. Really nice shot.
First call, results from Class 6 and 8 points, Luke Marino. 7th, Blake Burns. 6 points, Dylan Frank. 5th, Gabby Flores. 4th, Zach Moore. 3rd, Austin Bell. 2nd, Haley Albrecht. And your Class 6 winner, Anna Siebert. Now entering the ring is Class 7 of our Leatherdam U Show. We need Carson Bell, Blake Burns, Hannah Seaver, and Aileen Albrecht in the holding ring for the Division 6 Champion Drive. Class 8, please be ready.
Didn't get a call back from Joker. It's fine. In one class? Right on his phone.
What do you say you do?
I didn't have them.
good one. It's because I watched it. It's really
Evaluating the judging.
I qualified for Denver and I was like, I highly doubt that. Kelly Stacy. He's won well, yeah, probably only like
It makes you look stupid. What's the eat crap and this He's gonna pull the girl. I pulled the wrong girl there. I'm gonna pull that. Wait, what does he mean if you put them in the thing? Are you just talk face?
still got a boot on.
Tell you a really interesting set of sheep to evaluate here. Give and take. I land on one. I like that female quite a bit in terms of her body and her shape there, and having a nice look on the side. I wish she was just a notch longer, more extended up front, where the sheep in second has some advantages there. But man, she is so powerful and opened up and just good in terms of her body and her feet and legs. I think a real logical place to start. The sheep in second propped up. I mean, I'm all in. That's the one I want to use to win the class. I'll just tell you, I love her balance. I love her body shape, and her front third of her body is just so good. When we get her into motion, she's pretty straight off of her rear too. We let her flex there for me. I think it gets real close because the front third of that sheep is better. Maybe not quite as powerful as the one right ahead of her, but still extremely, extremely good. Nice pair of sheep, and drafting in their tight. One's going to come out of here in 3, another one, but this one's a good sheep in terms of her shape and her width. I read her to be a longer and tighter about her blade there. As you study her and back into her flank, I don't read her quite as open up as that pair ahead of her, but I still think of an extremely high quality one that does run uphill for just a nice look. The one coming out of here is 4 is the one that's got a really boxy kind of a hip in her, a real square one they made there that's got some shape up high. Yeah, she just doesn't come together quite as nice for me when we get off of her. She wants to get a little bump in her loin there when we raise that up and just a little plainer around her shoulder. Not quite the attractiveness we see in the three ahead of her, but nonetheless, that's an awful nice sheep coming out here in 4. In 5, we got one that looks like a brood medium. Good body, good ribs, sound structure. She just loses a little bit of that wow factor to get up there any higher today. But man, I'd be proud to own one like her because that's an awful good sheep. Fundamentally sound. Good job, young lady. Nice set from there now. Really, really competitive that particular group.
Your results from Class 7 and 10, Tyler Cronkite. 9th, Sarah Coker. 8th, Hadley Owens. 7th, Caitlin Campman. 6th, Dylan Frank. 5th, Alicia Easton. 4th, Maren Ludlow. 3rd, Emma Woods. 2nd, Lexi Hunt. And your Class 7 winner, Chancellor Johnson.
Well, considering the I had a class of 37, I got a call back and I got
When you were in final.
what? I'll be like 22. There's a class of 37 that I got. They did it. They did the same thing to the 6 points. They did it for like all 600 of them.
Now in the ring is the Division 6 Champion Drive. First call for Class 8, Weather Dam Utes. First call, Class 8, Weather Dam Utes.
They did 20 in the first class. They just said, oh, well, there's like 20 something in the next class. 37.
Yeah, that's just complaining to us.
About the field championship?
Yeah.
They said it was
Another extremely good division here in quality is off the charts in this female show. I thought it was good yesterday, continues to be that way today. If you talk about these just briefly, that first class was a nice class of sheep there. I thought they had a real logical class when out of that particular group. Just good body and sound structure. The one that was really stout standing there in second. Next class there I thought was a heater class in terms of just depth and quality in there, and I thought a pair of them is sorting their way up to extremely high quality. A little different, but both good. I don't ever think that having different ones is a bad thing. I think when you try to put the most positives together, those two do extremely well. The last class I thought was good as well, and I thought that sheep that won that particular group did so quite nicely in that out there against their contemporaries in. And she comes out here and certainly in contention for me as one that's just really, really good build. It's got a tremendous amount of shape and power. So awesome drive here. I do think at the end of the day there's a pair of them that suits me the best. It's close though for your reserve, but a nice job. Congratulations to all these kids who got framed in sheep and reserve. Good set of sheep.
Your Division 6 champion Weatherdam U, Hannah Seaver, and your reserve champion Weatherdam U from Division 6, Haley Albrecht. Final call for Class 8 Weatherdam U. Final call, Class 8 Weatherdam U's. Reminder that if you are wanting to, if you're not in the auction, you are wanting to sell your animal, You need to turn into a packer copy of your weigh-in card to guest services by 4 p.m.
Hey, that's the nicest thing.
Class 9, please be ready.
I don't want makeup. Exactly. You don't know what I would look like with makeup. I do. It was disgusting. I didn't call makeup. I look like a ghost at both calls. I don't know if I could probably show you a picture. My mom's Instagram. Actually, I'm probably tagged on my which is weird because Bucket is not from makeup. Yeah, well, he has similar skin tone to it, so it's probably easier. Let's see what it is. I didn't look like the ghost.
Because you're already so loud.
Let's see if I can find the first one. Okay, it wasn't bad in that light, but in this one, I was like 20. Actually, my prom picture, like from actual prom, was bad. I'm so lost now. Now let's see if I can find my other time. That'll be good. Look at my nasty face. It's gross. Oh my gosh! No, there can't be record of me wearing this shirt on the internet. Well, you did. It's gross. Ew! Look how yellow my teeth are from that picture though. Ew, so funny. And then this one, that's what it actually is. White. Banana, normal color. Me, white. Broadcasted come on.
Probably talking.
Case Ingleson, please bring your Weatherdam view to the holding area to get weighed. Case Ingleson, please bring your Weatherdam view over to the holding area to get weighed.
Oh, it disappeared. I don't think it was. It wasn't very. No, if you open the AirPods earring, I thought it was glitchy. But this is really just not oh no,
Now entering the room is class 6 and class 8 of the Weatherdam View Show. First call for class 9 Weatherdam Views. First call class 9 Weatherdam Views to holding room.
That is a view. Yep, should be up. Maybe reset it. How'd you do it,
Second call for Class 9, whether they have used the holding ring. Second call for Class 9, whether they have used the holding ring.
The best ones are in here, so. So were you taking the number?
I tell you folks, this is a competitive set of 4 or 5 out here we've seen, and just really, really, really good, and just a little different, subtle differences, and I tell you, the one that I like to start with, I do think that she's the most intriguing from the outside. As you pull her up and look at her, and just in terms of her balance and attractiveness, and where her neck comes out the top of her shoulder and her blade, I think is extremely, extremely good. And then you want to question, well, does she have enough muscle? That sheep's got more than enough muscle. That sheep's wild back, great in her upper rib cage there, and her body shape's very good. I'm not going to call her as big in her hip and her kin as the one standing right behind her, but I think she's got plenty of width, and then it's her balance and her chest score shoved up in her, and her look and attractiveness is why she wins for me today. The sheep in second is wild muscle. That one comes into motion just great. I think she's good in terms of her blade. She's a little rough in the way her loin ties into her hook bones there, and the jump muscle stuck up just a little bit. I'd like to soften her fore rib up just ever so slightly and crack her open right there in her chest. And I think her rib back into her flank is good. It's just right out of her shoulder. She plays a little harder for me, but that one comes together extremely well. Old gray tenon one like that's a little bit hard to look at out here too. Maybe doesn't look as fancy some around her. Then the one coming out here in third, this one is as wild back and as big and as shapely and as round body as any we've seen. And I think as far as a breeding piece, probably one of the most exotic ones. And that's what makes it hard for me out here, because I love her in a lot of ways. When we get her into motion, she is too tight, restricted out of her hip. She is wants to run downhill ever so slightly in motion. I think the young lady does a nice job of drawing her up, because when she does pop up, she looks really good. And so when we get her loose there, it's that hip and hind leg and wanting to run downhill ever so slightly. And realize I'm picking on one that I call elite there, running out of this particular group in third. The young lady's got one in fourth that I thought was really good as well. One that runs just a little plainer in terms of her shoulder blade, being just level in her build. Maybe not quite the exotic front end you see the 3 ahead of her, but man, that's an awful nice sheep from there back. Young man's got one that's really stout and powerful. When we get her into motion, she wants to run downhill ever so slightly. Wants to drop that sheep's flank a little bit as well. But that one is really wild back and good in terms of her feet and legs. Just need to leave that front end up. I tell you, a tremendous set of sheep there. I apologize for taking just a little longer, but I thought they deserved it. Nice set of sheep. Congratulations.
Your results from Class 8 and 10th place, Izzy Klaus. 9th, Cash Wade. 8th, Hope Watt. 7th, Cooper Jackson. 6th place, Abby Cardwell. 5th place, Blake Burns. 4th, Chancellor Johnson. 3rd, Macy Meads. 2nd place, Macy Meads. And your Class 8 winner, Lexi Hunt. Now in the ring is Class 9, the Weatherdam Ute Show. First call for Class 10, Weatherdam Utes. First call, Class 10, Weatherdam Utes. Class 11, please be ready. Second call for Class 10, Weather Dam Ewes. Second call, Class 10, Weather Dam Ewes.
Folks, I tell you, a good set of sheep here. And, when this one walked through the ring right here, I was trying to think of what I should probably say on the microphone, and I thought about it, and I just think if I'm the one looked like this, I just put a sign on my pen that says doesn't play well with others. Because this one ain't treating the rest of them fair out here. This one is pretty special, folks. When one walks through the ring, it looks like that. I hope that you can appreciate sheep that are built like that, man. That one is absolutely wild from the side. Tremendous amount of shape for upper hip and her pin. We can write books on sheep that look like that. I think that's one that kind of resembles what a lot of us want to raise one day and realize realistically, most of us have spent a lifetime and never do it. So congratulations to you. That's one that's elite for sure. Second and third, guys, you just run into a monster in here, unfortunately. But you got really good sheep. I thought that's where our decision lay. And you got to make a decision amongst them two. The sheep in second, I think, is just a little burlier at the ground. She's got some extra width and shape. She's a little bolder and better in the way her loin ties into her hook bones, for me in particular, from the side profile. I think she's a little more opened up as well as we watch her go. Probably not as good in terms of her front third of her body as the one right behind her, the young lady's got. I like the refinement. I like the elegance of that one up through her shoulder to where her neck comes at the top of her blade. I just, like I said, like to blend her a little better from her loin to her hook bones there. Smooth that up just a little bit. Again, that's a tremendous sheep. You just run into a tough class, a nice pair of them there in 2 and 3. From there, we got another one that's solid in 4. This one runs uphill. She balances extremely good. Body shape's good. She runs out in the right direction. She's not quite as stout in her feature at the ground. Maybe not quite as extended up front as some of them. One coming out in fifth, a good body, one, a nice looking ewe, but one that gets a little rounder on both ends of her skeleton as you study her from her hooks to her pins and the way she sets off of her hind leg there. So we just need to correct that ever so slightly. But man, she should be proud of her. That's a nice female. Another one coming out in sixth is a black sheep there, gray one, powerful one that's just a little plainer in her look, a little rounder as well. But nice set of sheep here. Congratulations to all of them.
Miley Myers to the holding ring. Miley Myers to the holding ring. Your results from Class 9 in 10th place. Brooklyn Allen. 9th, Tyler Cronkright. 8th place, Mason Kalin. 7th, Alan Morris. 6th place, Austin Mayners. 5th, Taylor Cassidy. 4th, Hadley Owens. 3rd, Chancellor Johnson. 2nd, Haley Bird. And in 1st place, Madison Rule. Now entering the ring is Class 10 of our Weather Dam ewes. First call for Class 11 Weather Dam ewes. First call, Class 11 Weather Dam ewes. Class 12, please be ready. Second call, Class 11, Weather Dam ewes. Second call, Class 11. Class 11, Weather Dam Ewes. Final call, Class 11. Class 12, please be ready.
You know, as it said here, I think a real logical place to start, and a ewe that, man, she suits me awfully well. She's got some balance and shape. She hits the ground really good, square and true as you watch her go away from you. I think she just puts a lot of neat pieces together. Maybe not just the wildly widest one we've seen, but I think that's hard to make them that wide when they're that good looking. That's an awful nice female to start this particular class. The sheep in second, I love her shape. When you get in, you get your touch on her. That was a hard muscled female that's really good in terms of her balance. We're going to pick on her. We want to drop her flank down just a little bit for me, give her more sweep there to her body. I think that would make her just a notch more pleasing from the side, but I think she gets out and goes okay. We'd like to turn her front feet in just a little. She wants to turn out. Part of that is because she's so short in terms of up front, in terms of relation from the top of her shoulders to her blade or to her chest for there, wants to turn those front feet out because of that. But I tell you, I think that's an awful nice one. The ewe just comes out in 3, hard to pick holes in. She's built like that. I mean, she's just right in her kind. She's level and square. She moves great. She's very attractive and feminine. When we do pick on her, it's from right about here. She needs to be just bolder and wider. You're over with that pair ahead of her. She's obviously the flattest one out here of the initial 5 for me. And we just need to crack that one open, make her a notch more shapely. If you just want to tie into a pretty one, I know you can probably beat the one right ahead of her. But it's because of her look and her balance, I will beat the one in 4. I like that sheep in 4. She walked in, her extra stoutness of featuring big old fuzzy legs on that one, kind of cool there, pleasing as you watch her go. The longer we studied her, I'd like to change the way her top line lays into her hook bones, change her underline ever so slightly. She's a little deeper. Of course, her about her breastplate there, maturity's starting to catch up with her just ever so slightly. But I do think the female's got a ton of power and merit and an awful nice one there. The one coming out here in 5, man, when you get that one stopped, I'm all in. I mean, I just tell you, that was powerful, big back. Like right here, her shape to her body is incredible. Her rib and all those things are really good. It's when we get her into motion, I don't fall in love with her. We need to change her back too, particularly her right rear leg. She wants to get out past her body on the outside of her hoof there for too much for me. Put too much weight there. Don't want to set them down square enough on her pad or heel. But nonetheless, a nice female challenge is set there. Congratulations to all of them. Good job.
Your results from Class 10. In 7th place, Luke Marino. 6th, Kaylee Faulkner. 5th, Carly Klitz. 4th, Lori Wade. 3rd, Kenzie Hugstra. 2nd, Taylor McGill. And your Class 10 winner, Braden Bowers. Now entering the ring is Class 11, Weather Dam Ewes. First call for Class 12, Weather Dam Ewes. First call, Class 12. If we could have all division champions and reserve champions from all the Weather Dam and purebred divisions today, please start making your way over to the ring.
That's what I just the box. He's got the big block there that's a little. He lost all the time. We're seeing it, right? Yeah. And I don't know if he has some of that out there. I'm assuming that he was wrong. But my wife, you're my wife's friend.
Second call for Class 12, Weatherdam Ewes. Second call, Class 12, Weatherdam Ewes. Final call for Class 12, Weatherdam Ewes. Final call, Class 12.
I tell you, an awful nice set of sheep here, and really a pair of them. In my mind, I thought were just incredible in terms of their build and substance and look of the pair. I landed on one that's just wild right out of her shoulder. That one's rib cage and her back shape is incredible and still really good looking. And I'll tell you, she'd be the first one to admit, I think if that sheep would relax and cooperate for it, she'd look even better, because I think that's probably her biggest fault right now, is when she wants to just act like a fool out here. But study her shoulder and her neck and the way it comes out, her top shape there, extra width and dimension, and when you get it like a 3/4 and get your hands on her, that's particularly the difference for me in the sheep or her and the one in second. The one in two, I love the read of that one. I think their underline and her chest fold, maybe partially she's got a little extra flank wool back there. But for me, as you keep analyzing them, the one that wins is just boulder and square right out of her shoulder. She's rounder, particularly in her fore rib for me. That sheep right here is incredible in terms of her hip, but because of her hip being so big, it makes her blend just a little coarser from her loin to her hook bones there. Maybe doesn't blend quite as neatly as the one right ahead of her. But now, if you like that pair different to me, I don't think you're crazy at all. I think that's a really good pair of sheep there. Congratulations to both of them. The one coming out third, I like a lot about her. I like her shape. I like her width. For me, she just doesn't give me quite the look of the two above her. You can see her loin wants to bubble up just ever so slightly. A little deeper right in the blade there in the point of her shoulder. A little coarser as we study her. But man, that one does have a lot of power and volume to go with it. I just don't see quite the look you see in that pair ahead of them. The young man's coming out forward. We got a stout featured one here that's opened up. She gets plenty coarse about her shoulder. Her old knee wants to start to turn out. We like to lay that blade in there just a little neater. But for all that power she's got from there back, we'll settle for a little bit of it today. Wants to get a little tighter too when we get her going. Run downhill ever so slightly. The same can be said for the young lady coming out in 5. This sheep probably looks as good when she stops and gets that one settled. I'm all in on her. When we got her into motion that time, she wanted to get them too straight and didn't want to stretch out and go for me quite good enough off her rear too. But I do like her presence and her look propped up extremely, extremely well. It's a high quality sheep. Just needs to get out and travel a little better for me. But nice set. Congratulations to all of them. Good set of sheep.
Your results for Class 11, 10th place, Avery Freeman, 9th, Katie Matsumoto, 8th, Hallie Wade, 7th, Luke Marino, 6th, Bailey Lake, 5th, Bailey Anderson, 4th, Joseph Taylor, 3rd, Marissa Pendleton, 2nd, Carly Costello, and your Class 11 winner, Colin Dino. Now in the ring is Class 12, Weatherdam Ewes. We need the Division 7 exhibitors for the drive. If you were first or second in Class 8, 9, 10, or 11, first and second to the holding ring.
Come on, what were you doing? Obviously not
Second call for the first and second place exhibitors from classes 8, 9, 10, and 11. Second call for first and second place exhibitors from classes 8, 9, 10, and 11.
I tell you, a good set here, and we'll start off with one. I like this sheep quite a bit. I think we took some extra time. Somebody did get her ready too. She's pimped out pretty nice out here. This one balances extremely good. When we get her propped up is when she sets her true advantages out here for me. The way that one runs uphill, her body shape and her look and her presence is awful good. I'm not going to call her the stoutest one. I'll call her the biggest legged one right now. And she gets an award for that maybe. But I think her look and her balance and correctness is extremely, extremely good, and she has plenty of shape. Maybe the shapeliest one, though, of the group is standing in second, right out of her shoulder. This one's wild muscle through her hip and her stifle there. I read her just to be a notch more coarse through her shoulder, and the way she comes out of her shoulder, you can see it right there. She wants to turn them out ever so slightly, get a little deeper there, but I still think that's an awful nice female coming out, too, with some extra power. 1 and 3 handles are just phenomenal. This one's got a lot of shape and expression up high. It's her underline instead of her chest in relation to her flank. She needs to be better to her body there and drop down. But I like her extra shape up high and her turn to her groin and her squareness to her edges there are the one that's going to come out forward. In 4, we got one that's got some extra performance just in terms of extra length and extension. She's longer up front and a little better there, but for me that was plenty flat in her overall build, her forearm and her hind from like behind. We just need to square that one up for me. One get out 5, this has some extra power. This one's got some muscle, so it's going to make an awful nice review for the young lady. You read her though, her neck needs to be changed. The way it comes out the top of her shoulders a little too far down. You like to lift that up and put it on top of her shoulder, square it hips up just a little bit. You got a good sheep, young lady. Hold your head up. Nice job. Congratulations to all of them.
Your results from class 12. 7th place, Abigail Jensen. 6th, Hope Lott. 5th, Karsten Tobin. 4th, Amaya Startia. 3rd, Marissa Pendleton. 2nd, Sarah Knight. And your class 12 winner, Jessica Simpson. Now entering the ring is your Division 7 champion drive. If we could have all division champion and reserve champions to the holding ring, all division champions and reserve champions from today to the holding ring.
division, really a good set of sheep. It is a deep set. These 5 classes each have a lot of merit to them. Your first, your class winners, and your seconds. We just need to take just a second here to tell you what I see before we pick them, because I just want you to understand what I like and why I do what I do. The sheep that wins the first class is extremely good. I mean, I liked her, and I thought there was 3 of them in that class. If I remember correctly, we talked about being really, really tough. That one that wins, I thought she balances so good. We got plenty of muscle to go with it. She's not a freak up front in terms of her chest flow, but I think she's very good. The one that was second, wild muscle, wild shape when they're awfully high quality. The one in the next class, I don't know what else to tell you about that one. Just take a picture and we'll call her good, and we'll call that good enough, because that one's pretty special, folks. I'm not good with a poker face, so that's an awful nice sheep. The one that was second to her into Hateful Either just run into a pretty tough one right there ahead of her. The next class 3 there, young man's got one. I love the balance and the look of this female. The question mark for me, is she truly wide and stout enough? But I love her look and her balance from the side. I think that young man needs to prop up off the wheel. One that was second there, maybe needs to get a little better body, but awfully good. Next class here, 4, I thought that was a challenging class. I thought that was a pair of ewes that came up and surfaced there that are both very, very good. A little different. The one that wins that class is, for to be that big-legged and stout-featured and still good-looking in her lines and her balance and still that bold and wide right out of her shoulder, I think that's an awful high-quality female. Is she going to be the tallest running and as good-looking as the one going maybe right in front of her? Maybe not, but she's awful good. The one that was second, a little bump in her loin, breaks the way her loin ties into her hook post, maybe better looking than the one that beat her. And then the class 5, I thought that was an awfully well presented sheep. It looks really good propped up, balance-wise and all extremely good. Maybe not quite as well as stout as some. One that was second is extremely shapely and good looking. Maybe not quite as extremely shapely, maybe not quite as fluffy in terms of the leg and bone as exotic. So, man, good division here. I'm going to take one last look at it. If you can't tell, I know which one I'm going to use for champion. Your reserve gets a lot closer for me out of this particular division. If you will, join me, give these young people a nice round of applause. Good session.
Your champion, Division 7U, is exhibited by Madison Rule out of Class 9. Out of Class 11, your reserve champion, Colin Dino. If we could have all division champions and reserve champions from today to the holding ring.
How did you not do it?
All champion and reserve champions from our divisions today, please make your way to the holding ring.
Probably anything else.
You like him.
We just like him for real. We like him for when we like look at him.
You're like, oh, you're gonna lick the rest of your life. Happy little weather. Watch him turn mean on you.
Probably.
Like chase me around.
Then it can. When I hate him.
Currently in the ring, we have our 3 division champions from our Weather Dam U show being selected for champion and reserve champion Weather Dam U. We need the champion and reserve champion, Division 4 breeding ewes to the holding pen. Division 4 champion and reserve champion breeding ewes to the holding pen.
I tell you, folks, as we get to our 3 divisions on this Weatherman show back out here, I couldn't be more pleased. And I tell you, I know everybody's got their favorites when you go and judge shows, and everybody's got certain ones they like. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I'll never argue with anybody. If you like one different than me, when I'm done, I'm going to say, hey, man, good for you. I ain't going to hurt my feelings none. I'm a big boy. I understand that everybody's got differences of opinions and has got the ones they like, and hopefully you continue to breed the ones you like. But I will tell you right now, for me, these 6 sheep out here suit me as good as I don't know how you can make them any better. From each one of these divisions, I'm just as happy as I can be as I get out here and I watch them and study these sheep and evaluate them. From the first division on, I thought that one was extremely good division. I thought there was that sheep that wins that division was awfully good. I thought that sheep that was reserved in that division came out of an extremely tough class. I thought that one was good. There was a sheep that was second in class to that one that was reserved. Man, it'd be nice to see her back out here too, because if we were going deep, that one was extremely good. There was 3 of them in that division I thought that were really good. Then at the second division, man, those 2 come out of the same class, and I thought they were tough, and I still think they're very good. They're a little different. I like the one that maybe just looked a balance just a little better. Maybe that one that was second. A reserve in that division is Wild Muscle. Man, that thing's big-ended, big hip, and crazy body, man, and that one put some pretty unique pieces together. Then we get to Division 3, and I tell you, that reserve was good out there. That one is one that's good bodied and good hips and got the right kind of shape up high. Maybe not as exotic as a couple of these out here. And then you got the champion at Division 3, and man, like I said earlier, I'm not good with a poker face, and I tell you, everybody's got their thoughts on what sheep should look like today, and I don't claim to know any more than anybody else, and I'm not any smarter than 90% of you standing ringside. Just the only difference is today they asked me to come out here and sort them, so I appreciate that. But what I will tell you is, in my mind at least, that's what we ought to be striving to make them look like right there. Sheep that are that sound, that good looking, crazy exotic from the side. I mean, I'm not really sure who you pick on that one at, guys, and I don't know that there's been one that you see me talk about in the last 2 days. And it doesn't matter from champion in each one of our divisions that we couldn't pick on, but I don't know where you pick on this one. I think she come out here and as we said in class, and I thought that one just needs a sign on her penis that doesn't play well with others because she's that much better today. That's going to be your champion. Congratulations to her out of this division. That's an awful unique sheep. Good job. For your reserve, again, I won't say a whole lot here. I thought that one out of that 3rd division was good. I thought all of them were extremely high quality. The one that suits me the second best is going to be the reserve on the champion at Division 2. Congratulations to her. Good job.
Your champion, Weather Dam U, exhibited by Madison Rule, and your reserve champion, Weather Dam U, is exhibited by Hannah Seaver. your champion purebred breeding ewe show.
So right now, we're gonna pick a champion or our registered sheep, and so that would be these four down here. We got our AOBs, I call them Northern Advantages. I thought that was a competitive breed this morning. First thing, I thought that was a one-back division, if I remember correctly. She's a fall, extremely high quality one. Their balance is very good, and we went back and used that land for reserve in that division. Two extremely high quality sheep, both very different. And I thought that Dorset was extremely unique for that breed. And I think in terms of her body, her shape, and her power, and that rib cage laid in that one makes her hard to make for that breed. It's extremely high quality one, the one that was reserved there. Another one that just didn't move quite as good off her hind too, but man, she takes a nice picture from the side with a lot of power. We get into our hands here, and one that wins that, I think, is very, very high quality. You know, in terms of her chest in relation to her flank, her shape, and her width, and her soundness of structure. We'd like to make that one run uphill just a little more if we're going to pick on her, but I think very, very good. And the one that was reserved, maybe stouter, maybe not quite as good in terms of her body and her center shape there. Then we got into the south there, and we got two that are just polar opposites. We talked about them in their respective breed, and I realize this little one here may not be everybody's favorite in terms of that breed, but I tell you, she's nice for me in terms of her kind, her shape to her body, and her look and her balance. I think that was awful nice. You know, is she big enough? She is for me today, so that's all right. And then the one that was reserved, certainly more extreme in her kind, good in her body, shapely, and going to be a nice bigger peanut there. But tell you, a tremendous set of sheep. I got my two favorites in my mind out of your registered division. I'll show you which two they are. If you will, join me, give these exhibitors a nice round of applause. Good set of sheep.
Champion registered breeding ewe out of the Dorset division is Bryn Schweed, and your reserve champion registered breeding ewe out of the Southdown division, Kilby Lindsay. Now we will be selecting your champion overall breeding ewe. If we can also have the first call for Class 1 of the junior market goat breeding does, Class 1 of the breeding does. First call for the home ring.
Folks, I realize we've got a lot left to do in terms of your lunch show and all today, so I'm not going to waste a lot of your time. I'll just tell you, man, it's been fun the last 2 days, and we got the champion Markland Drive here in a little bit, and I'm looking forward to that. But man, this youth show didn't disappoint. I knew it was going to be good. I had expectations of it being high quality, and I tell you, again, man, when we get our registered sheep out here with our weather dams, man, we're really, really nice set of sheep. I commend all of you as breeders and exhibitors today for doing a nice job and a well-run event here. And I'm not going to talk about the sheep. Y'all getting tired of me doing that. So I'll just tell you, a tremendous set. Congratulations to all of them. Give these kids a round of applause, and I'll show you my favorite too.
Your overall champion breeding ewe is Madison Rule. Reserve overall champion breeding ewe is Haley Seaman. Correction, Hannah Seaman.